Hey everybody, it's B Diz the Rockstar, part of SuperObvious. In this video, we're talking about the script for Scream 7. Let's go.
I'll be right back.
Hello, Detective Banks.
Come and get it!
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
In the last video, we did part 1 of the script for Scream 7. In this video, we're talking about the script for part 2. When Sid, Mark, and the kids are heading up to New York City to meet Gail, Kirby, and law enforcement to help with the most recent Ghostface attacks, Sydney is driving. Obviously, it wouldn't be smart for Mark to be driving after just getting attacked and stabbed by Ghostface, especially on his arm and through his hand. He has been patched up enough to where he is good for now. Sid says, whoever the fuck these new Ghostfaces are, and they know where we live, I'm not sure if going up to New York City, which is the place we avoided not long ago, is the best place to be, even with the protection of law enforcement and our friends. Mark says, this will be better because we will have a bunch of other people around us. Later on during the drive, Sydney starts to be emotional. Mark asks, what's wrong? Sid gets upset about her hearing from Gail on TV that Dewey is dead. Mark is confused. He tells her that Dewey was killed a while ago and Sid was there to give emotional support to Gail and that Sid already knew about this. Sid gets confused. We see a distorted flashback when Sid talked to Gail about Dewey's death, but it kinda doesn't make sense to her for some reason. Sid then snaps out of the flashback when Mark screams when Sid is about to drive into a big ass truck. They pull off the side of the road. The kids wake up freaking out along with Sid and Mark. Then we have the Scream trademark to lighten up the mood. Mark asks, do you want me to drive? They drove all night, and when it's morning time, they take a break and stop at a diner to feed the kids breakfast and also get a game plan together. Sid calls Gail, but she doesn't answer. Mark calls Kirby, but she doesn't answer either. When loading the kids back into the minivan, Sid's phone rings and it's an unknown caller. When Sid says hello, it's Ghostface and says,
"You're kind of taking forever to get here. Maybe I'll stab a few people to kill the time."
Sid responds, oh yeah? Seems like you can't get the job done on anyone nowadays. Ghostface laughs and says,
"Maybe, but I took out your best friend Dewey, and you don't even remember that. Memory issues acting up again. That's just going to make it easier. When I finally stab you in the face like I almost did Mark, and you actually brought your kids with you. That was a very dumb move, Sydney. You are supposed to be smarter than that."
Mark had heard enough and hung up the phone. Mark asks Sid, how does Ghostface know about your memory issues? Sid says, I have no fucking idea. They get up to New York City and go right to the cops. Right away, they have their kids being watched in the police department. They meet Kirby, and her arm is in a sling from getting stabbed in the shoulder from earlier in the movie. Sid and Mark make the joke on how she is like Gail and is a cat that has 9 lives. Kirby kinda smirks, but stays serious as a cop and wants to get to business on trying to figure out who these new Ghostfaces are. The problem is always the same. It could be someone you know, but it could also be a person related to someone that you knew, which makes the reveal solving process a huge freaking mess. Sid tells Kirby that she has tried to contact Gail, but so far it hasn't helped at all. Kirby says, yeah, about that. Gail hasn't been doing very well. She has been going through a downward spiral, and after her being attacked and almost killed in the apartment, the loss of Dewey has been hitting her harder than ever. Kirby, Sid, and Mark go into a room and try to get some ideas on a board to try and figure out who these Ghostfaces are that attacked them, or at least maybe someone who can help lead them in the right direction. So far, they got nothing. Gail shows up and Sid is hesitant to give her a hug because she doesn't look well. Kirby says, I see you're unfashionably late, Gail. Again. Gail mumbles some stuff that's barely understandable. Sid asks Gail about Sam, Tara, Chad, and Mindy. And just like in Scream 6, in 7, Gail gives the forced line that the Core 4 moved out of New York City to go somewhere else to further their college education and be somewhere safe. Alright, quick break. This forced line of dialogue is so the actress that plays Sam can be off screen after getting fired because of her social media posts, and the actress that plays her sister Tara can be off screen as well since she stepped out of the role out of support. This forced line is what Gail did telling Sam and Tara in Scream 6 on why Sydney wasn't in the movie, and that was because of a real life issue with the studio not wanting to pay Neve Campbell what she feels she deserved, so she wasn't in the movie at all. Alright, back to the story. Gail, kind of getting herself together, asks, "What about that guy Sam was dating, Danny? Do we know where he is so we can talk to him?" Kirby smirks and says, "Wow, Gail, seems like you are good at your job, even when you look like shit." This is a nod to Kirby and Gail jabbing at each other in Scream 6. Kirby says they are using their resources to track Danny down to question him. Sid and Mark tell Kirby they are sorry to hear about her boyfriend Bob getting killed. Mark talks to Kirby and says, "2 Ghostfaces attacked me, and 2 Ghostfaces attacked you. Do you think these 2 are connected, or could there be more than 2? Kirby says, "Well, we had the Bailey family, which was a first ever 3-person Ghostface trio. Any other time, it's a 2-person job besides." Kirby stops, looks at Sid and says, when her brother was the only solo Ghostface to commit all the attacks and murders while being the film director of the latest Stab movie at that time. Sid sees some flashbacks of this happening, but it's kind of distorted like her memory was before.
"But they killed my cast. You know, nobody's gonna want to work with me."
Mark and Kirby talk for a sec, and Sid leaves the room to catch a breather and gets a phone call. It's Ghostface saying,
For a girl that has done this so many times, you are really not that smart. Not against us.
Sid says, "You know you're going to die, right? Just like every other fucker that's worn that mask." Ghostface laughs and replies,
Maybe, but you missed all the fun last time, Sydney. And you barely remember me killing your best friend Dewey. If he wasn't such an idiot and just left the hospital, he would still be alive. Well, at least for a little bit longer. Are you even sure who killed Dewey? Because maybe it wasn't Amber.
How do you know I'm not the killer?
You're way past your prime, Sydney. Killing you isn't even a big trophy anymore. But I'm still going to be the one to do it. I promise.
Mark and Kirby can see that Sid is upset on the phone and come up to talk to her. Ghostface says,
The only thing we need to think about is what order you, Mark, Kirby, and Gail be killed. Oh, and I got a surprise for you, Sydney.
But yeah, that's the video. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the Scream 7 script so far with parts 1 and 2. More videos explaining more parts of the script are on the way, so be on the lookout. What are some of the things that you think can happen next as the script and story goes? Like and share the video, subscribe, tell other Scream fans to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Totally for sure.
Subscribe to SuperObvious on YouTube for awesome Scream videos.